You're listening to Closing Market Weekly, the show where real estate closings meet real world insight. With your host, Phillip Hogan. And every week we break down the trends, tools, and the timing that keeps deals moving forward. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Phillip Hogan, host of Closing Market Weekly. Welcome to another show. Matter of fact, another exciting show. Before we get into who my guest is, let me just give you a little bit of an introduction. I am the CEO of Signing Services of America. Since 2016, I've worked with hundreds of individuals within the mortgage industry. They may be title officers, presidents of title companies, attorneys, and of course, notaries. And as a result of that relationship, we have started a contest, and it's just simply called Notary of the Month. And it's a wonderful way for us to acknowledge the notaries and the work that they do for Signing Services of America. So today's guest is a Notary of the Month winner. And let me tell you a little bit about who he is and what he's done. And then we'll introduce him and talk a little bit more about how he became to be the Notary of the Month for Signing Services of America. Okay, so Seben Griffin is the owner of Griffin Notary Services in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He's been a commissioned notary since 2018, completing over 10,000 appointments and operating full time since 2020. He also hosts a YouTube channel, Search Griffin Notary, dedicated to providing practical insights and best practices for commissioned notaries, emphasizing the critical importance of understanding and adhering to individual state notary laws. His philosophy for the notary business is built simply on accuracy and efficiency, meticulously identifying signers, witnessing their signatures, and correctly executing each notarization to ensure seamless and reliable service. Seben, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much. Sorry about the cough earlier. Being a Florida guy, I don't do too well when the weather starts changing on me and my throat starts getting tickly. So I got my hot tea and all of that, so I'm good to go now.
Well,
Thank you for
you're
inviting me
certainly
on.
we're happy to have you. And if you have to sip on your tea throughout the show, please, by all means, be comfortable. Do what you have to do. Okay.
Hey, no problem at all. Thank you.
Fantastic. So, Seben and Signing Service America has been working together for, I mean, at least 7 years, and
Yeah.
yeah, and so Seben has been one of our go-to notaries in the Virginia area, and his bio really kind of like explains really why we continuously call upon him when we have work in this area, because he pays attention to detail, he's efficient, and he's reliable, and so please tell us what were the reasons, what motivated you to want to become a notary?
Okay, we're in the short form. When I was a kid, I used to
Uh-huh.
see the Notary Public sign all over the place when we would go out and play basketball. And one day I just said, hey, what does that mean? They
Uh-huh.
said, all we know is that people sit in their house all day and get paid for people coming by. And I
Okay.
was like, oh, that's it.
Uh-huh.
That was when I was like 15. Fast forward to when I was about 48 years old. I said, you know what? Let me give this notary thing a try.
Uh-huh.
And as I proceeded to learn more about it, I learned about the mortgage industry and other aspects. And then I started realizing there are a lot of people who can't go to the bank and get stuff notarized.
Right.
I can be there for them. There are people who are stuck in their homes. I can
Uh-huh.
be there. They don't have an account with a bank. I can be there for them. So from a 15-year-old to 48, now 58, I decided, I said, you know what, let me give this thing a shot and see what I can do with it. And I'm glad I took the plunge. It has been great all 7 years that I've been actively doing notary business.
Uh-huh. And so, well, again, we really enjoy working with you, Seben. You're very reliable, you're responsive, you're a great communicator, and as your bio describes, you're meticulous about the work that you do. And our clients need that type of partner, right?
Right.
To, facilitate the deal to get done. So
Correct.
tell us, so if you wouldn't mind sharing, what do you consider to be one of the mistakes that's helped you become such a reliable signing agent?
Oh man. What made me become a reliable signing agent is when I asked the signing company one time, how what does such and such mean in this notarial certificate? And the young lady
Mhm.
simply told me, we hired you, you're the expert. figure it out, and hung up.
Okay.
And I was
Okay.
like, okay, let me start figuring it out. And I said,
Uh-huh.
let me make sure I know what I'm doing as a notary.
Uh-huh.
Other things happen, misshipping of documents, my
Mm-hmm.
systems wasn't in place,
Mm-hmm.
almost
Mm-hmm.
putting somebody's voided check in the wrong envelope. And I
Mm-hmm.
started realizing that this is more than just hopping up with a stamp, running off. They said, wait a minute, I got to have a system in place to keep track
Mm-hmm.
of what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, how I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing, who I'm doing it
Mm-hmm.
for.
Mm-hmm.
And then most importantly, accept blame and take accountability for when I do make a mistake. If I
Very
make a
good.
mistake, own up to it, get it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Mm-hmm.
hem and haw about it.
Right.
It doesn't matter what happened. How quick
Uh-huh.
can I get it fixed? And I had to
Uh-huh.
put a system in place to get it fixed quickly.
Right.
So yeah, things like that is what
Right.
really just made me say, you know what, let me get my act together and really start
Right.
focusing in on being
Right.
the best notary. And one last small thing, I
Sure.
started hearing from other signing company schedulers when they will call
Uh-huh.
and they said, we appreciate you
Uh-huh.
taking time out because other notaries won't. So when I started hearing what other notaries won't do, I said,
Right.
well, let me make sure I do it. And that is
Okay.
what got me basically to be
So
more
you
efficient in what I'm doing.
so I'm hearing that you're a good listener, right?
Mhm.
And what you have heard, you really put into some type of system or some type of process that has helped you to become a better, or not should say a better notary, but become a more experienced, reliable signing agent.
Correct.
Yes?
That's
Yeah.
it. Because there's always going to be somebody more experienced than me, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're more reliable.
Reliability.
So you
Right.
have
Right.
experienced people out there who can teach me a whole lot. But when I
Right.
talk to them and
Right.
you say, well, what would you do if you made them? I ain't going back. That's on them.
Right.
So they're
Uh-huh.
not reliable. So I said, let
Uh-huh.
me deal with the floor level of reliability. And if I
Uh-huh.
can be there for you when you need me to be,
Right.
then you'll call me any other time.
So reliability is certainly like the foundation of
Correct.
your success toward becoming a notary signing agent. But what also I want to really fluff out here is
Mhm.
when you call the signing service and with the question and they
Right.
put the issue back on you, which was you figure it out,
Correct.
you really had to do what? What did you have to do to figure out, if you can remember that particular
Oh, I remember.
situation? What did you have to
Basically,
do?
I had to do some research on Google, which I had not done at that point, for as
Okay.
understanding. Oh, this is way
So
before
hold
the
on.
AI.
So wait a minute now. So now you had to. So the part of your figuring it out is you said you had to do research on
Research. I had
Google,
to research.
research
So
that particular problem.
research that particular problem, and what I
Okay.
ended up doing was
Uh huh.
just taking the whole notarial statement and
Uh huh.
typing it into Google and saying what goes in the blank.
I love it. Uh huh. Uh
And
huh.
all it was the pronouns of he, they, them. And once I understood what it was, I said, "Oh, that's what it." Then it clicked,
Uh
and I
huh.
just said, "Here's a notarial statement. What goes in the
Uh huh.
blank?" And it
Uh
came
huh.
back and it said an individual's pronoun or a
Uh
couple's
huh.
pronoun, and it
Uh huh.
just clicked. And ever since then, I've never had to call a signing company back to
Uh huh.
learn to ask them, "Hey, how do I fill out a notarial certificate? What do they
Because you were
want done
able
on the other
to.
aspects?" Oh,
Because
good
you
on.
were able to, by going to Google.
Mm-hmm.
Google helped you, gave you the resources or the information to answer that
Right.
question. But I'm also hearing that by taking initiative to find the answer to your question, you
Mm-hmm.
not only found the answer to that particular issue, but you were also able to build a method of finding answers to future questions that
Correct.
came up. So
Right.
so I want my audience to really hear that, particularly the notary signing agents, that
Correct.
there is some kind of like self-reliability. You have to be, you have to be a
Yes.
self-reliable person, right,
Correct.
as part of a signing agent. So in other words, for those that are new to the signing community, and new, those that are new notary signing agents, you're
Mm-hmm.
taking it from an experienced person that sometimes you're going to have to sort of like figure things out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you get the support from your client to help you answer the
Right.
question.
And the
Great.
other thing was I had to trust that the research that I did would give me
Mm,
the answer that I needed. And I
mm,
found out that some people don't trust themselves. They'll do all the
mm,
research, and after they get the answer, they spend a lot of unnecessary time calling other notaries
mhm,
to get an answer for what they've already researched. And because that notary doesn't know how to research and don't trust themselves, they'll misdirect you away from the answer that you had into
Oh
something
my
else
gosh.
that they think
Oh
is
my.
correct, and they have no background to support it. It just sounds
Sure.
good because you don't trust yourself and you want to put your trust in someone else. But the problem is when
Right.
you call, when
Right.
Signing Services America call and say, Griff, why did you do it this way? There's
Right.
no legitimate reason why. I cannot go and say, well, I talked to Earl and Earl told me this. I got to
Right.
eat that. I got some
Right.
wrong information. So I have to take responsibility. So either I trust myself and the process I use, or I don't.
And once you establish a very successful process, then you
Correct.
got to constantly reuse that process
Yes.
because
Reuse it over and
over
over
and
again.
over and over and over again, right? And one of the
Correct.
things about we have one of our policies with Signing Services America is not like you had with the other signing service. If you do have a question or issue, we encourage you, we want you, we invite you to call the company and speak to one of the schedulers to find out, well, listen, I got this particular situation and I really don't know what to do, or I got an idea, but I don't want to get it wrong. So can you help me out? And what do we do?
Y'all help. Y'all help me figure it out. I mean, every single time. And your company is one of the few that I can actually say doesn't fuss and cuss people out for asking for help.
No. And you know why? You know why, Griff? Is because we want you to get it right. Right.
Yes.
Our client, we want to get it right. And then finally, our client wants to get it right. So if we're hiring you, yes, and any other signing agent throughout the country becomes a contractor with Signing Services
Correct.
America, we want you to make sure that it's enjoyable, right? And you get it right so that everybody at the end of the day is happy. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, right?
Right.
My
And what
father
I
used
learned
to
was, I guess you're former military, correct?
I am.
Right. And I learned real quick, you former military. So I said, okay, I got to come right and exact. I
That's
got to
it.
be definitive. I can't have innuendos. I got to
Right.
here's state the facts, no long
Right.
stories. Here's
Right.
what's going on. Have the backstory if you ask, but if you don't ask,
Right.
just give you that facts. Hey, what happened here? Boom, boom, boom,
Right.
boom. What happened there?
Right.
Boom, 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 boom.
Mhm.
And then go with your suggestion, go with your assessment, and then go make it happen. Everybody else is cool.
That's right. And so now, you've talked about a system you developed for success. And obviously you've done you said 10,000 orders.
Appointments. I just put as appointments, but of course, the notarizations are more. But yeah, at
Right.
least 10,000 appointments.
Right. And that's great. And so what I'm starting to do here is build a line of defense, if you will, that what are some of the other features that's in your business that's helped you to become successful. We talked about you being reliable. We've talked about you doing the research using Google. But I see that you're in your office, right? And you have some very impressive equipment behind you. So some people who are listening to the podcast don't see what I see. And I think that your office is another tool for you to be successful. So you talk about what do you have in your office?
Okay, so right now, as y'all see, I got 2 printers. I got a third one over here in waiting.
Wait a minute, what type of printers? Let's
Those are the Brother 6200 and 6210.
Right. Yes.
Both of them got 3 trays on it, 2 for
Very
letter,
good.
1 for legal.
Okay, good.
Over here in the corner, I got a third printer in case something breaks down with them 2. So I already got a backup printer, backup trays.
Yes.
I got toner over here, and I got drums coming today. I got 3 scanners.
Okay,
because
good.
I want to be ready, because I'm always thinking that at any point in time, you may get a client that needs somebody to mass do some things, and I got to be able to handle it.
Right.
So I have all of that, shredder, everything, plenty of paper, about to order some more paper today. So I realized real quick in this business that I got to have the proper equipment in order to support the people who are depending on me. If I don't have
I'm so happy you said that, Griff. I'm so happy you said that because we're getting some notaries who are getting jobs,
Hmm.
and they then call us when they're in the process of printing, or just before they begin to print. They're saying, I ran out of paper, or I ran out of toner, and
Hmm.
I can't accept the order. And for the, so we in the office are wondering, well, wait a minute, did you not realize that you were short on paper
Nope.
and or toner? And so what are you doing to ensure that you don't ever have to give a client that statement, well, I can't take the order because I'm out of toner or I'm out of paper?
Well, the first thing, I'm making sure I'm not wasting my money, because
Okay.
in order to have paper, you got to spend, you got to buy it. So I'm making sure I'm not sitting up here just because I had a great month last month, that I'm sitting up here
Mhm.
partying it up and spending it on
Okay.
red bottom shoes and, Michael
Mm.
Kors and all that kind of stuff for the wife and things. So I make
Okay.
sure I have the money.
Hmm.
I'm constantly researching where I can get the best deal for paper,
Very good.
deal
Very
for
good.
toner.
Right.
And before it runs out, I go head
Mhm.
on and purchase it. So I got a
So
toner for the
at
day.
what point, Griff, at what
Mhm.
point do you decide, okay, I need to I need to replenish my paper supply? Do you wait till you get down to the last ream, the
Nah.
last two reams?
Um, once I have basically half a case, I'm buying another
Hmm.
one.
Okay,
So
good. All right.
right now downstairs, I got a full case of paper that I haven't even opened up. That's letter.
Okay, good.
I got 5 reams of legal, and I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
ordering another box today.
Hmm.
When I get down to about 40% on my toner, I'm
Very good.
ordering another one.
Hmm.
When I'm getting
Hmm.
down low, and with the printer, you can tell you how many bars. So when I get down to about 3 bars left
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
um
Toner.
on the toner,
Yeah.
that's when I'm buying it. When I get down to about 40% on the drum, that's when I'm
Mm.
buying another one. So
Excellent.
those
And
are
I'm
things that.
asking these questions. I'm asking these
Mhm.
questions. You're an experienced, very experienced notary
Right.
signing agent, and you've gone through, the processes to become
Correct.
this level of experience. But there are many notaries and notary signing agents
Right.
who need to hear from you exactly what you said. So they will
Correct.
be in a position to never say no, never have to turn down an order because
Correct.
I'm out of toner or I'm out of
That is.
paper. Now, the other thing I'd like to ask you is that
Sure.
we've talked about your reliability.
Mhm.
We've talked about, your foundation of trust and really going through the steps, if you will, to ensure that every signing is done correctly. And then we just talked about, your equipment in the office, and
Right.
not only the type of equipment you have, but I'm sure it's well tuned, well taken care of. And
Yes,
then
it
we
is.
also talked about how you are constantly, what benchmarks do you use to determine when I need to replenish my supplies?
Correct.
Some notaries have a mobile office. Are you one of
Mhm.
those notaries?
I had a full mobile office at one point when I was working with my W-2, and
Hmm.
for me, I only did the mobile office during the wintertime because I did
Okay.
not want to risk having these out in the heat in the car while I'm in a closing, getting to
Mhm.
150 degrees inside the car and
Mm.
messing up the internal parts because they're not built
Right.
for that.
Gotcha.
So during the fall, that's when I would have it. Once I
Ah.
went full time in the business, and
Hmm.
based off of the logistics in my area
Hmm.
and the signing companies, a lot more of them are now getting the paperwork. Not even the signing companies, really the title companies are getting the paperwork to the signing companies to get to us. I haven't needed to carry a printer in the car. Now I keep a
Oh.
scanner. I
Hmm.
will keep a scanner in the car, but I haven't had a need for that because right now I've estimated probably a little more than 90% of the time when I have a closing, like today, I got 5 closings. I got 3 more after we do this. I already got the documents. So I
Gotcha.
realized that, okay, I don't really need that. Now, if somebody has greater space to travel, then
Right.
they need to consider that. They need to
Hmm. Okay.
consider doing that. But
Great.
if at all possible, but it really depends on you. I found that
Hmm.
it was no longer efficient for me to carry all the gear with
Hmm.
me when I
Hmm.
saw the companies that were I was working with. Because
Hmm.
in this business, you will graduate to better
Hmm.
companies. I would say
Hmm.
from the standpoint who get the documents to you, things of that nature, probably pay you
Hmm.
higher, all of that, or
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
least send you more work consistently
Right.
at the infamous. $75 that nobody wants to take, which I don't have a
Right.
problem doing. And
Right.
you got that consistently, you're like, okay, well, I don't need to carry all of this with me.
Got you. So now
And
the
that's
other
why I
question I
want.
want to ask. Thank you for that. That's great. And again, what we're doing is speaking to a very vast audience that
Correct.
we don't know who is in the audience, Griff, but there may be that notary signing agent that just needs to hear the words of encouragement that you just shared and the words of wisdom and knowledge that you are
Hmm.
sharing and will continue to share. And you mentioned that you have a scanner in your car.
Right.
That a scanner? Is that a separate from your iPhone or your
No,
phone,
yeah,
or is
that's
it
a separate, that's a full regular grown man, grown woman. You
scanner?
doing real business scanning. It's not the big, it's just
Okay.
it's a brother,
Okay.
one that I can scan, connect to
Mm-hmm.
the internet, and
Mm-hmm.
then I can download the documents, upload them to the portal, all of that. Or if I need to email them, like when I do commercial loans, I'm always having to email the documents directly to title and
Mm-hmm.
the lender so they can do the right now funding. So I
Right.
have a scanner that can connect to the internet. If I need to connect it to my secure Dropbox account, then I can to
Very good.
upload the document there to whatever. But I have a
Time out.
scanner that I can do that.
Time out. You just mentioned something that I was getting ready to talk about. You have a
Mhm.
Dropbox account.
Correct.
So that Dropbox account, let's talk about what that is, why is it needed, and what type of positive feedback have you gotten as a result of having that Dropbox account?
Well, that Dropbox account has greatly helped me out because when I do also Ron, they want a copy of the video that I do. So I
Mm-hmm.
download the video. It's too big to send over email. So I upload it to the Dropbox, create a folder for that client, and then they have
Mm-hmm.
access to it to download.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a lot of different clients that really want to get those documents, I just upload it
Mm-hmm.
to the Dropbox because sometimes they have these corporate email systems that filter out stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and if they
Mm-hmm.
don't know you, you're not constant, they're not used to you emailing them.
Mm-hmm.
I put it up there, I send
Right.
them the stuff, and then it's like, okay, they can go get it. So the
Mm-hmm.
Dropbox account works wonderful. I've been using it for years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as well as for clients who may not be signing services, because sometimes the title company say, hey, I want to send you something directly, or if there's some
Mm-hmm.
sensitive stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it comes in handy to
Mm-hmm.
upload it to a
The
Dropbox account.
Dropbox account.
Right.
Sure.
And
Sure.
then let
Sure.
them have access and they do what they need to do. And then once they're done, you can cut access off and then you don't have to
Right.
worry about anybody else getting in there.
So what we're talking about, audience, is that how Griff has various types of tools of
Correct.
success that has helped him be able to get to where he is, where he has repetitive business coming in from multiple accounts. He has, satisfied clients who have come to depend upon him, including Signing Services of America. And I see why, because you are a man who believes in coming to work.
Correct. Yes.
you know and to work in this business, on your side of the transaction, you have to have various tools and systems in place that allows you to operate efficiently, because you also
Yeah.
know who what you also know that your clients are relying upon you to get the deal done, right?
That is correct. And what I've also recognized, your company and a few others, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when the thing started slowing down from the pandemic, I
Mm,
realized that several of the signing companies, as much as people talk smack about signing companies, I realized the signing companies are the main ones that really are trying to get additional business in for
mhm,
themselves, which means
mhm.
they need us. So
Right.
if the signing company owner says, well, all I'm going to ever do is refis, but never
Mm,
say, you know what, let me do a loan application. Let me do reverse mortgage. Let me
right.
be available to my client who's asking me, hey,
Right.
so I said, well, if their client is asking them, can you
Mhm,
start doing loan applications? Well, guess
mhm,
what? Griff needs to
mhm,
do that. And see, that's
mhm.
on my YouTube channel. I talk about all that, how to do those things so the
Okay.
notary community can be ready. So my
Benefit.
thought is if I can get them ready and
Uh,
understanding what it takes to do these different avenues of money making opportunities, when
yes.
you call, they'll be ready to go
Yeah.
instead of you calling and they're like, well, what's a loan app? You know what a loan application is. Nothing
Right.
can start in this business without
Right.
one.
Right.
So just
Without
get
one.
it
Right.
done.
Right.
So when I saw that with y'all, I said, I got to be able to pivot right
Yeah.
along with y'all,
Yes.
irregardless of the price. Whatever
Yes.
you say, this is, let me pivot with you and
Mm.
grow with you so you
Yeah.
don't lose business.
Good. And look at where we are today. Yes.
Yes.
And so you've grown, Signing Service America's grown, and now I have a podcast, and you're on the podcast as well. So the next thing I'd like to ask you, Griff,
Sure.
or not even ask you, but say is that, you know, there's a saying that someone said, taught me long ago. They said, Phillip, if you stay ready, you don't have to worry about getting ready. And
That
what I
is
mean,
correct.
if you stay ready, you don't have to worry about getting ready. So, in other words, if you are ready and the phone rings, then you're ready to go. Because in this business, if the phone rings and you're not ready to go, what's going to happen, Griff, to that client calling?
After a while, you're gonna be like, I can't rely on them. And that's what
Yeah,
happened
see,
a couple of months ago. You called.
that's right.
I was sitting there. Well, I remember it was on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. I was eating
Uh-huh.
something real quick, and I had a 9
Uh-huh.
p.m. And you
Uh-huh.
called and said, "Hey, can you go to Chesapeake?" And I was like,
Uh,
"Yeah, I can go to Chesapeake." And I'm thinking in my mind, Wednesday or Thursday. And you said, "No, man." You said it just
uh,
like that. You said, "No, I need you to go to like." I was like,
right.
"Yeah." I was like, and I was like, "All right, cool." I said, "You know
Uh-huh.
what? Yeah." And I said,
Yeah.
"As long as y'all cool with me getting there by 10, I
Right.
said, no problem." And I
Right.
got over to the couple, and that same couple, I actually did a closing for the loan application for them. I was the one. I
Okay,
don't know
great.
if y'all or not, but I did the loan application for them several months back. So when I
Hmm.
saw them, that gave them some pause, and they were like, "Okay, okay, yeah, we recognize, we remember you," and sat there
Right.
and got them all taken care of and everything.
Right.
So you're right. You have to be ready when that
Yes.
call comes because you just
Comes.
never know.
Right. You never know. And what's going to happen is that, you know, the call may come and you're not ready, and the caller will hang up and just go to the next notary in line, and
Yeah,
that notary could possibly get your business and all future business. Because
correct.
I started as a notary signing agent in 2015, and what was told to me by the person who mentored me is that, with Phillip, when the phone rings, answer, because
Right.
if you don't answer, they are going to go to the next person and the next person, and they're never going to come back to you. And
Correct.
so, because I kept answering the phone, I got more and more business, and then
Business.
here we go, you know, starting Signing Service America. So now, my last section of the show is to talk about something that we really haven't talked much about, which is the pandemic, right?
Correct.
And, you know, Signing Service America, we had to pivot, right? In
Hmm.
Georgia, you know, the governor shut down the state, so
Hmm.
we couldn't come into the office. So I had to quickly dispatch the scheduling staff to work remotely and assign
Okay.
everyone computers and get their internet up and running and making sure everything was fine. And we did. And, you know, many doors closed, but ours stayed open. And that's how we pivoted, and we stayed on that pivot, and here we are, you know, we've been in business for 9 years. So what I'd like to know from you, during COVID, what were some of the things that you had to do in order to not only accept our work, but
Right.
fulfill your role as a no traveling notary?
Well, during that time, I was still working the W-2.
Okay.
So I had a very flexible company that I could just
Hmm.
take off whenever I needed to. So
Okay.
I realized that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was not the best times for me to just, hey, I'm gonna go do a closing, because I was one of the main people that was running the meeting. So I said Monday, Tuesday,
Okay.
Wednesday, 9 to 5. I'm I can't take anything during that time. But
Gotcha.
Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday was game on. So
Okay.
what I did to pivot, and a lot of people don't know this, I would go do closings on like Thursday and Fridays. And then I would come back at home and work till like 1, 2 in the morning.
But what I'm asking, Griff, is that during COVID, we had to wear masks, we had to wear gloves, we
All that
couldn't,
stuff.
you know.
Yeah. So
Yes.
first, so after I carved out the time period, yes,
Hmm.
I had the mask, I had the gloves, I had
Hmm.
everything, sanitation. I had
Hmm.
tables with me, I had folding chairs with me, any
Hmm.
and everything that was needed. I made sure that I
Hmm.
had. Another
In
thing
other
that I
words,
also,
you had folding tables and chairs because the
correct,
signing couldn't be done indoors. Could
correct.
be done outdoors. And
And
you
one time,
came with
yeah,
the with the equipment to have a
Correct.
signing outdoors. Okay.
I did. Yeah, in the back of a Wawa.
Okay.
It was in back of a Wawa, and it was clear there was homeless people back there too. And we sitting in
Right.
the daggone woods in a
Right.
Wawa at a
Right.
Wawa's. You know how Wawa's can be like a 7-Eleven in the back. And I was sitting here and had a table, had chairs, and we
Uh-huh.
sat there and got it done because they didn't want us. The wife was like, nope, nobody coming in the house at
Right.
all. I actually did one sitting in a car. I was in my
Okay.
car, they was in their
Mm-hmm.
car, and we handed papers
Mm-hmm.
back and forth. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever legitimate pivot that I could do to get the job
Mm-hmm.
done for my client, which
Mm-hmm.
was y'all and everybody else, that's what I did. So it was something that
Mm-hmm.
was feasible for me to get it done, meaning that at the end of the day, when these documents go back to y'all and to your client and they
Mm-hmm.
submit it to the courthouse, it gets recorded.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That was the key thing. I had to make sure that no matter what, it
Mm.
could get recorded the first time. That was my
Yeah.
goal. First time submission, it gets recorded,
Mm.
whether y'all did it in person or digitally, it had to
Mm.
get submitted right the first time. And I always
Right.
made sure that was my goal. And I learned that from a signing company. They told me
Mm.
I had made a mistake, and they said I can't remember what it was. And I was having a fit over it. She said, "Don't worry." She said, "You did the critical documents that we needed, so we can submit this, so we can all get paid." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." And she taught me some
Mhm.
things, and from that point on, that's when I said
Mhm.
I got to make sure I do what I'm supposed to do. So at the
Right.
end of the day, we all
Right.
get paid, and
Right. Right.
that's my goal. Make sure we can get paid.
Right. And you're absolutely right. You're because when you do when the signing agent is spot on with the work that they're required to
Correct.
do, everyone's depending upon this, not to say depending upon, but what we like to say as Signing Service America is that we're a team, right?
Correct.
Lenders, the title, the signing service, and the notary, we're all in the same team. And we have one goal in mind, is that we have to either score a home run when
Hmm.
we're at bat, or we have to score a touchdown when we got the offense on the field, right? Or
Correct.
stop or the defense and prevent the opposing side from scoring, right?
Correct.
And so as long as we are working and thinking in unison to accomplish that goal, which is to score a touchdown, everyone is happy, right?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And then, and then we go, okay, well, let's now the next play comes up. Okay, we know what to do, right? And
Hmm.
so the final thing I like to leave the audience with is to really make sure that for those who were not notary signing agents during the COVID times, that it was very difficult.
Yes, it was.
And it was difficult because everyone had to think uniquely. What can I do? How do I keep the doors open? Right? How do I, respect the homeowner's desire not to come into the home when all when any closing I've done in the past has always been done in someone's home or
Yeah.
restaurant, right? So it required a lot of ingenuity, right?
Correct.
And but we got through because of that ingenuity, and
Yes.
here we are today. But we're better. I know my company's better as a result of going through that process. And what did we
Yes.
learn? You know what I mean? And we met great notaries like yourself. So Griff, since you're affectionately known,
Hmm.
you've got a tremendous amount of great information. I'm sure my audience wants to know who you are and how to get in contact with you. What's one source that you want to leave on the show if someone would like to reach out to you?
Well, they can always go to youtube.com and look up Griffin Notary, and they'll see me
Okay.
there. My contact information is in there. They can always hit
Hmm.
me up at notaryhelp@griffinnotary.com. I made that email
Hold on,
specifically.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's repeat that. Notary help. What?
Mhm. Yep, notaryhelp at
Uh-huh.
griffinnotary.com.
Okay.
And I
Notary help
created
at
that email.
griffinnotary.com.
Yep,
Griffin Notary. One say three times. Say for the last time, please.
I'll put it in the chat for you.
No,
Yep,
no, I want you to say it because remember, people are going to listen to this show as well
that's
as
right. We got
watch.
podcast. I'm so
Okay.
used to YouTube, I forget about the podcast
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Notary help, the word notary
Hmm.
and help together
Hmm.
at Griffin,
Hmm.
GriffinNotary.com. So
Very good.
notary help at griffinnotary.com. If you got any questions, concerns, just shoot them there. If you want to directly text me, my Google Voice
Hmm.
number is 757-797-5432.
Okay, great.
757-797-5432. And you can
Fantastic.
call or text that number, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you and see what direction I can point you in,
Mhm.
whether it's I can help you or if I know someone else that can.
Great. Now, the final piece I'd like to ask of you, Griff, is that if there's one piece of advice that you would leave or provide to our notary signing community, what is that one piece of advice that you want to share?
Know your job as a notary, because when you know what exactly you're supposed to do as a notary and you understand your state laws and you understand what you're supposed to do and not to do, that will
Mhm,
build confidence in you when you stand out there and market yourself. It will build
mhm,
confidence in in the people who hire you, because
mhm,
sometimes that scheduler who hired you may not know your notary laws. They may not know that you can do something or you can't do something. But when you
mhm,
know it, as well as they say in the church, chapter and verse, and can point them
mhm,
to where it's at, that
mhm.
lets them know that you are a notary that's on it. If
Okay.
you don't, or at least you can find the answer real quick. But once
Right.
I started understanding really what my role is here in the
Right.
whole process and what the goal is, I
Right.
said, okay, now that I understand that, I can confidently market myself and say, I'm the person who's going to make sure that when you send the paperwork to me and when I
Mhm.
bring it back to you, it's going to be done correctly and you'll be able to process it to get done what you need to get done, whatever that may be. So
Fantastic.
that's what it is. Know your job.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Know your job. Okay, great. Well, hey, Griff, listen, man, this has been a great show. First of
Thank
all,
you,
it's
sir.
wonderful to talk with you face to face, right? Because
Yes.
we're always talking, on the phones or emails, but to see you face to face is a pleasure. And thank you for being such a wonderful guest. And, and for our audience, you have heard from Seben Griffin, who is a master notary signing agent who's done over 10,000 signings. Oh my gosh, that's crazy in his time
Yeah.
frame. And he is also SSA's or Signing Services of America's Notary of the Month awardee. So,
Thank
Griff,
you.
thank you for coming to the show. We really I enjoyed having you, and we look forward to working with you again. And then for my audience, please, you can listen to this on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. And while you're there, please give us a little like, share, and even give us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And so until our next episode, everyone, you take care. Bye now.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Closing Market Weekly. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone in the industry. For more insights from the front lines of real estate closings, we'll see you next week.